Now, almost every one of us is going to be hit with a big personal tragedy in our lives. I mean, that's just the statistics, how it goes. But we all ignore it. I mean, nobody goes to school to learn how to deal with big tragedies or impossible situations and things like that, unless you're like an Army Ranger, you know, and going to some basic training where they teach you how to survive in, you know, the most difficult times in your life. And nobody really teaches us that, you know. And this next interview is somebody who had that happen to him. You know, him and his family, and he had a premature child who was what they call a micro-preemie, only a pound. That's all this little baby was weighing. And at the same time, he was really on his deathbed with prostate cancer. And they got through it, but now what he's doing is going on the internet and he's raising $45,000 through crowdfunding sites. So he could produce a video to reenact all these problems so other people can learn from it. And I think that's important in life. Again, you know, we don't go to school, we don't have a class on dealing with the worst things that could happen to you in life or something like that. You know, nobody's doing that, you know. Doctors don't even prepare you for that in a way, and you know, the emotional stuff that goes through. And so watching somebody do this, I think, would be a good lesson for us all somehow. And that's what he's doing, and he's doing it, you know, because he's a filmmaker. So he's taken his talent, you know, as a filmmaker and trying to share it with other people so they can be more prepared for when, you know, just tragedy happens in our lives, you know. So watch this video on him, and he's a delightful fellow and make you laugh, even though all this stuff he had to go through. So watch this. Well, Chris Hennessy, man, I think you're a superhero in life. You know, I mean, we have all these heroes, you know, we have on television and on baseball fields or whatever, but we don't, you know, sort of glorify real superheroes, people who do something in life that's bigger than them and work on a problem that is bigger than them, and they're not doing it for money or anything. And I just want to congratulate you for what you're doing. It's such important work that you're doing, because if other people learn how to get through tragedies like you and your family have, I mean, that is the nicest gift, I think, that you could give to the rest of us, because we don't get any training in that. The only people that train for bad stuff are the people like in the Rangers and the Marines or something, you know. We never get this training, you know.
It's a really good point.
Yeah, and so you really are doing this film, you're crowdfunding for the film, Touched by Hannah, and it's really a training film for the rest of us to start learning how to deal with all the bad stuff that's going to happen to his life, because it's going to happen one way or another probably, right?
You know, Matthew, you really hit on something there, and you come across as the type of guy that just does what he feels is the right thing to do to make every situation fun and learning. I mean, if I wasn't having fun, you know, learning from you, I might not want to even learn. Yeah. And when all of a sudden you're thrust into a situation where your life is on the line, and then your daughter's wife is on the line, I automatically just was able to stay calm and focused and be myself. And myself is a classic kind of goofy ad-lib.
Oh, really? That kind of guy, huh?
Who loves life. And during some of the most crazy times of my life, I made myself, the doctors and the nurses completely crack up and laugh.
But it must have devastated. But it must have devastated you too. I mean, you're human. You must have had all that bad shit inside of you that was going on.
You know, 3 weeks after I had cancer surgery at Stanford Hospital, my daughter Hannah was born 3 months premature, and the first 2 nights of Hannah's life were the first 2 times in my life that I prayed myself to sleep.
Wow.
You're right. I was scared to death. This was my little girl, and I had people tell me, but you have 3 kids. If she doesn't make it, it's okay. But you know, and I know, as soon as your kid is born, you love that kid just like you love the other ones. And there's nothing I love like I love my kids. And I'm getting chills right now because that little girl was in there fighting for her life, and I was scared to death, but I didn't let that get in the way. I don't even know why. I just was able to, maintain my calm, maintain myself, and just hope and pray that things were going to turn out okay, and made everybody not be stressed. That was a big.
Your daughter at that point weighed what, 1.5 pounds?
Correct.
Wow. I mean, God, 1.5 pounds. And how long was that before you knew that she had a chance? I mean, it must have been, I have no idea.
We were in the intensive part of intensive care at Good Samaritan Hospital in San Jose for about a month and a half.
Oh, wow.
So she's in what's called the NICU unit, neonatal intensive care unit. She was in the real heavy duty room for about 4 to 6 weeks. And that entire time was very difficult. It was like being on the front lines in Afghanistan or Iran, because we saw babies that didn't make it. We saw parents that were devastated. We saw babies that were, going to have a brutal rest of their life. And the doctor said to me, he said, "Mr. Hennessy, your daughter is fighting for her life right now." And I didn't like to hear that. And then he also said, he gave us right away, these are all the possibilities of the lifetime of illness your daughter is going to have.
Well, thanks, Doc.
and it was a brutal thing to hear. And we went back to my wife's hospital room, and my wife said, "No, she's going to have this and that." And you know what? I don't know why I did this or how I did this, but right then I put my foot down and I said, "No. That hasn't happened, and that's not going to happen." I had some kind of a confidence, and let's be positive about this, and let's, for us, I am Christian, so let's pray about this, and everything is going to turn out fine. I don't know where that came from, but that's what happened.
Well, that's right. Well, it's in you, and you're bringing it out, and I think that's right. Bad times can bring out the worst or the best in us, depending on the situation. And so it obviously brought out the best in you, and it's so wonderful, I think, that you found a way to share this more than just for your immediate family by working on this film now, and you're raising money on Indiegogo, to do this. And the campaign's going to start it by the time people see this. And so you'll have now a video of a docudrama, right, on this whole process, because you've collected film on the whole process.
No, not necessarily.
No.
When I was diagnosed with aggressive cancer, I did think documentary, but I just didn't have what it took to put it together. So I do have footage of myself and Hannah, but a docudrama
I see.
basically recreates those main scenes that happened. Right. I'm going to play me. Hannah's going to play the current Hannah, and I am going to have actors that are going to play those other parts.
But even that, I think the neatest thing you have is this song that Hannah has on your website. What is it? Chris Hennessy? No, it's touchedbyhannah.com. If you go there, that great video of that song that she sings.
If you go to touchedbyhannah.com, you not only will be able to click on an icon and go to the Indiegogo campaign and help us out, and click on my LinkedIn to check me out, and whatever the other things that we have, probably this podcast, but also on the video page, Chris's videos, on the top of the page, I had a very talented musician that wrote a song and recorded a song for Hannah. And this past winter, I filmed Hannah and we created a music video. And it's a real must-see, because you're going to see a little girl who's playing guitar, who plays basketball, who wants to do everything.
This is the one who never was going to make it by the doctors. And it started out life, I was only 1.5 pounds. My gosh. And Dad was, on his deathbed with cancer, a bad case of cancer. And I just think it's a remarkable achievement you're doing now, and what a way to share, with what you had to go through with the rest of us, because that makes us grow, I feel. It makes other people learn from your experience and see, and that it gives us courage when it happens to us. So I appreciate what you're doing.
And I got to tell you, Matthew, can I say something of what you just said? Is you're 100% right. When stuff like this happens, man, you have to have the courage to stand up and be positive. And my film, besides telling an amazing story about some amazing people, you know, prostate cancer to men is like breast cancer to women.
Oh, absolutely. No, I worry about it all the time.
Did you know, because most people don't know and don't think about this, prostate cancer is the #2 killer of men.
Oh, well, get that checkup, man. It's easy to get that checkup.
32,000 men a year, and 32,000 men a year in the United States alone die of prostate cancer. And one more thing with premature birth, one in 10 babies are born premature. Now, most of them aren't micro premature like Hannah. But if all women that got pregnant were aware that this could happen, and they did little things like not travel after 5 months being pregnant, a lot more babies could be saved.
Well, wonderful, Chris. Well, it's touchedbyhannah.com. Go down there and click through to Indiegogo and support your campaign and watch that film of your daughter singing her music video.
Matthew Lesko, I love you a little bit more than a lot.
Well, hey!
Love you, buddy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
An honor.
Thank you. Okay, now this really shows you how you can make, lemonade out of lemons. You know, when something really bad happens to you in life, there's a way to get funding to make something good out of it, and that's all our life is filled with that. And we just have to look and be creative enough to see the opportunity to make something good out of something bad. Bad stuff's going to happen in our life. No way out of it. We're all living, so that's the price of living. But, that sort of creates your character too. All the bad stuff in life. So you should actually cherish that too, and you have something to share from that. So that's what this is for.